My agency, which is partnered with the United States Committee of Refugees and Immigrants, has several different departments. We provide immigration and legal counseling for refugees and immigrants. We help most of our refugee clients do their change of status, which is to get their green cards and become legal permanent residents, transitioning them from refugee to green card holders. And we also offer consultations for immigrants who have different questions, how to do family petitions to bring spouses and family members over, and just any kind of immigration questions. So we have walk-ins on every Friday from 9 to 11 in the morning, so people can come in and ask their questions. And then we provide walk-ins for refugees looking to do their green card process the first Thursday of every month. We also have an interpretation and translation department. We have many different languages that our great interpreter coordinator, Clara, sends out to different hospitals, schools, and community organizations in Milwaukee who need interpretation. She does everything from Burmese, Rohingya, Karen, Chin, Arabic, Spanish, almost any language. I think she's got an interpreter for it. We have citizen diplomacy, which we consult into a couple different programs. The first is the International Visitor Leadership Program, run through the State Department, where leaders in their countries can come and meet their counterparts here in the United States. And then we do educational outreach, which I'm going to do a quick plug for the International Holiday Book Fair coming up in November. It's a great educational fair run at State Fair Park the weekend before Thanksgiving, where you can enjoy food, dancing, music, a lot of different great things to learn about the different cultures here in Milwaukee. And then finally, what we're all here today to talk about, refugee resettlement. Mary talked about Refugee 101 perfectly, so we're just going to... Most of the clients that we see in our refugee department are from Burma or Myanmar. We also get a few clients from Sudan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Somalia, but about 90% of my clients are from Burma. At this point, most of them are Rohingya. When I started about 4 years ago, they were mostly Karen, so things have shifted a little bit, but the majority of our clients are coming from either Thailand before they get here or Malaysia before they get here. Like I said, we see a bunch of different ethnic groups within Burma. Mary talked a little bit about those as well. The Karen, Chin, and Rohingya are the three main groups that we see. You can see kind of on the map where they're located. The Karen are mostly near the Thai border. The Chin are up near the Indian and Malaysian border. And the Rohingya are located in Arakan state, bordering both Bangladesh and close to Malaysia. So overseas, before our clients even get here, they have to flee. They register, they do all that interview process, that extreme interview process that Mary was talking about, and then they get a referral to the United States and they interview some more. They get overseas medical screenings, which I'll talk about a little bit about more, and then they're assigned to a national agency and a local agency. Finally, after a long, long wait, they're able to come to the United States. Domestically, as caseworkers, we do a lot of preparation for them. Before they even get here, we set up a new apartment for them. We furnish that apartment completely, so a couch, table, chairs, beds, dresser, preparing them for their new lives here. We also put food in that apartment so that when they get here, they have something to eat. Upon arrival, we pick them up from the airport and supply them with $100 of what we call in my agency direct cash or pocket money. That $100 comes from that $1,000 funding that Mary was talking about. The apartment rent comes from the $1,000 per person that Mary was talking about. So we're doing a lot on a very limited budget. A family of 10 gets $10,000 for us to do that with. A single person has $1,000 for us to do that with. So it's a lot about being resourceful, calling the right landlords, getting the right rent rate, and really, so it's depending on donations to furnish that apartment. After we pick them up from the airport, that's when the real work gets started. Immediately after they arrive, we supply them with a hot food and a quick home orientation. Then we leave them and come back the very next day to do a home visit. At that home visit, we'll go through everything we can to get the best idea of what service they need immediately. So asking them if there's any health concerns that they have, asking them what their goals are, how they're feeling, how they're doing, so that we can get a good understanding of what we need to do with all of our work in the future. We also provide different social services. We help our clients get their state IDs, their social security cards, any public benefits that they might be eligible for, such as health insurance, cash assistance, and food share. We also enroll them in the ESL and culture orientation programs. Any kids who are able to, we enroll them in school, usually the Milwaukee public school systems. And then we get them their medical exams. We work with our clients to obtain employment because, like Mary said, we want self-sufficiency. We want people to have jobs, and they want to have jobs. Our clients want to work, they want to be free from dependencies on the state, and they're really looking forward to getting new jobs, especially in people who've had skills from their home countries. They want to be able to bring them here. So we get people who have skills in welding and construction, and they're very excited to start their first job, get their foot in the door, and then get recertified so that they can go back to their trades, and they're highly skilled people. We then work, at 1 year, our clients are eligible to get green cards, and we refer them to our immigration department. And then following that, in 5 years, they're eligible for citizenship. And again, our immigration department can assist them with that, along with different immigration departments in Milwaukee. Because I specialize in healthcare at my agency, I want to spend a little bit more time talking about healthcare. So overseas, there's not too much healthcare available to many refugees. In camps, there's limited availability of doctors. And for clients who do not live in refugee camps, there's often a fear of going to hospitals because they're living, especially our Malaysian clients, as undocumented immigrants in Malaysia. And something as small as going in for childbirth could result in an arrest. So there's fear of doctors, there's fear of going to doctors, and there's a lot of lack of medical care. But all clients are screened for health issues before they arrive in the United States. So this is taken from the CDC website, and this is regarding Burmese refugees because that's who I work with the most. So 6 months before the refugee will depart to a new country, after they've gone through all of that screening, they'll have a health screening. And there they're looking for any inadmissible diseases to the United States. The most common one would be active tuberculosis. So any refugee that has active tuberculosis can't get on an airplane and fly. They have to be treated first. If there's even any suspicion of active tuberculosis, their flight will be canceled. And that has happened. I had a client all ready to go. We were ready for them. A month before they got a chest x-ray that was fuzzy. It was probably not tuberculosis, but they could not rule it out. Their flight was canceled. And unfortunately, due to their age, they passed away overseas before they could ever make it here. But their family was able to get here after waiting 6 more months after the 5 years that they had already been waiting. Then 3 weeks before departure, they get another quick screening, any follow-ups on anything that might have come up in the original health screening. And then, when they're fit to come to the United States, if they have any medication that they might need, they're given that, usually a 1-month supply of medication. They're also screened for lice, and if they have any parasites, they're given some treatment before getting here. So, in this entire process, once we know that we're getting a client, this information is sent to us and sent to me. So I can see what's happened overseas, what health conditions we can be expecting when a client gets here. However, because something so small as a health condition might delay a person's process, not all of the clients disclose all of their health information. Because they're worried that if they're told, if they say, hey, I have this health problem, they're going to get told, okay, well, we need to screen you more and more and more. So it has happened at a first home visit. I have the sheet, everything looks great, and I say, so any health concerns? And I'm already writing the word no because I've seen on their bio data that there's nothing. And the client goes, well, sometimes I have chest pain and that causes me to pass out and I go unconscious for a couple days. But other than that, no, I'm good. Oh, okay. So all the plan that I made for their health concerns is thrown out the window, and now we need to get you to the doctor much sooner than I thought. With this information, we're given recommendations on how soon clients should get treatment. Generally, a condition they want treated within 4 to 6 weeks if there's something small. Sometimes it's within 1 week if it's a little bit bigger, and occasionally it's immediately. So there have been occasions where we get the client off the airplane and we drive straight straight to the hospital and get them checked in and get going on working on health problems. Here in Milwaukee, healthcare is a little bit different than it was overseas. We start with enrollment in health insurance. All refugees are entitled to at least 8 months of medical coverage under Medicaid through Refugee Medical Assistant. And that generally applies to single people. People with families are enrolled in the Badger Care Plus here in Milwaukee, that our version of Medicaid, and their insurance is income-based. Refugees are eligible for Medicaid as soon as they sign the application, which is as soon as they land in the country. So as soon as they get here, they're able to get health services. Like I said, as soon as they get here, if there's any immediate or emergency services required, we take them right to the doctor and get everything checked out, make sure that they're good. All refugees receive a refugee health screening, which we are required to do by our national agency within 30 days and by the state within 90 days. So within 1 month, they're seen by a doctor, and it's kind of like a physical plus. So your general physical, but a little bit more to make sure that, you know, any communicable diseases that maybe not have been tested for overseas are looked at, any unknown health diseases. A lot of times people have diabetes or hepatitis that they were unaware of beforehand, and so they're tested, and then the doctor will go over different types of treatment. The health screening doctor will make recommendations to us, the resettlement agencies, and then we're able to connect them to their continuing care. So my job is to not only connect people to their medical home, their primary care physician, but also their specialists. So many of our clients have never seen a dentist or an eye doctor, and then they're referred to a dentist and an eye doctor. Sometimes it's more complicated. They need to see specialists for tuberculosis if they came over with latent TB, and the health department does a great job at taking care of those people and getting them completely treated so the latent TB is treated. And a lot of times there's unknown medical conditions. Clients were not getting medical treatment overseas, and now they found out about a disease. The United States stopped requiring people to get tested for HIV. So in my time at the Institute, I've had, I think, 2 to 3 clients come over not knowing that they were HIV positive and getting that shock after their refugee health screening. Thankfully, there's lots of resources here in Milwaukee for our clients who find out that they have HIV or AIDS, but it's still very shocking. A lot of clients thinking that they're completely healthy find out that that's not the case, and then we're able to connect them to that continuing health care that they need. One of the biggest challenges we face in healthcare in Milwaukee is language. Interpreters are so important to healthcare, and so often there's not thought of. So I'll come in with a Korean-speaking client and get a Korean interpreter. I'll come in with a Rohingya client who speaks solely Rohingya, which is completely different than Burmese, and a Burmese interpreter will be there saying, well, I was told they spoke Burmese. So there's a lot of delay in healthcare simply because we have to make sure we're getting the right language. Confidentiality in interpreters is very important, and many clients right away aren't comfortable having an interpreter from their community come into the doctor's office and knowing all about their health issues. So thankfully, many doctors, especially for sensitive needs, use phone interpretation systems so that they can have a little bit more confidentiality. Other challenges include trying to explain the United States healthcare system, which is confusing. I don't understand the United States healthcare system sometimes, and then people who are trying to integrate into this new health system and understand how insurance works, especially the transition from Medicaid to employer-bought insurance or marketplace insurance can be quite confusing. And then there's medical bills, and people go to the ER thinking that their insurance covers everything, not knowing deductible and copay. Thankfully, we've got a really great community health worker who does workshops to try to overcome that barrier so that people are learning more and more about the American healthcare system as they go.